Good evening, everyone. So I'm a company secretary by profession. So my friend Devin told me that as professionals, as doctors and managing staff of doctors, companies, hospitals, should have a kind of a bird's eye view about what a company is. So why everyone, big corporates are, I mean, um, starting companies for managing hospitals. All right, thank you. So I'm just telling about the policy innovation, mother of progress, the evolving of companies in this whole world. So actually, I'm a practicing company secretary, but most of the slides have been prepared. Well, very few slides, but prepared by my partner Bindu, and the whole credit should go to her. If there's any mistakes in it, I take up the responsibility. This is the evolution of business in this whole world, business and industry. Before 17th century, we were only having barter system. Barter system means give and take. We will give rice instead of wheat, or milk instead of other kind of, milk instead of some other kind of rice or any other cereals. So if you have something in your, some products in your custody, you can exchange it if you have surplus in it with the other person. So everyone knows about that. Then the sole trader kind of business started before 17th century. So this one man will do the business. He will have his own farm. He will have his own products. He will go to, he will have his own even markets. So he will display his products in his market and sell it. Next is partnership firm. Then they found that scaling up a business has become a big problem for them, because one man cannot do the whole thing, whole gamut of things that has to be done by a businessman at that time. So 17th century, before 17th century, partnership has started in this world. And then comes companies. The earliest form of companies we know, all being Indians, we all know that we have a British East India Company. That is one of the earliest forms of companies started during 17th century. Then Dutch East India Company, it's also there. So these two companies started ruling the roost. They controlled the whole world by trading their articles from one country to the another. And they usually, to be very frank with you, they plundered the whole world. India got plundered by $45 trillion by these people, by English people, in fact. Next is companies, corporates. Companies during 18th and 19th century, we're going back to companies, most of the corporate conglomerates, big multinational companies, they have sown their seeds, like Ford Motors, then General Electrics, like that. They started the early 19th century. Then come corporates. Even companies cannot have the scaling up. They found it, because the world has become a big village. So they found it very difficult to reach out each and every places. For that, what they did was they started corporates culture. That is, one company will acquire the other company maybe in the same country or in the other continent. So they started growing and became trillion-dollar industries in each and every. If you trace the history of the world, we can see that corporates started ruling the whole world, in fact. Most of the countries were controlled by corporates. Even United States of America, even in India, Tata, Thapar, these companies started. Of course, they have done a lot of things for the society, but at the same time, they have grown in magnanimous propensity. Then limited liability partnership. Everything, see, if you throw a stone towards the sky, it will come down. This has happened because companies have a lot of problems. If you want to start a company in a smaller way, it will be very difficult to control the liability and, of course, other responsibilities and dangers that might happen to the companies. One of the major problems is liability. The liability become unlimited, but the company's liability is not that limited, but scaling up is possible. But the small-time businessman or a business house or a business group, companies may not be that much conducive. So what they would do is, they started, even in United States of America, they started limited liability partnership. They call it as limited liability companies. 1970s it started in United States. Means for professionals, they can have limited liability companies, because all the professionals will join together and do a business or do their service. Doctors can do it, even chartered accountants, lawyers can also do the same thing. Then in United States, the problem is limited liability companies can be incorporated only by professionals, only giving professional service. In India, it is not like that. In 2008, we started this limited liability partnership. Instead of saying it companies, we said partnership. Here the restriction is, in Partnership Act 1932, the restriction is only 20 persons can come together, join together for doing business for a profit. Beyond that, they cannot do it. 20 is limited. They have capped it. And this has become a big problem. Even for NMC, PricewaterhouseCoopers and Deloitte and Touche, they cannot control the whole consultancy services they are meeting out in different parts of the continent or different parts of the world. They cannot do it with 20 persons. So because of that reason, India has opened up that and addressed that kind of a disability that these professionals have. They started giving limited liability partnership. In 2008, the act got enacted, and they can have n number of partners. Next is cooperatives. Cooperatives means, till the early 19th century or late 19th century, the concept was only profit. Caveat emptor, that was because let the buyer beware. Even if the product is having some problems, you have to bear the brunt of it. That has been changed. In 19th century, it has been changed. And they said that cooperatives, so instead of focusing at the profit, of course, Tata has done a lot of things for the company. Ford Motors have done a lot of things for their country. DuPont, they have their own foundations for giving, a lot of solace to society. But their prime motive is making profit. This has to be controlled. So people become more enlightened, and they said, why can't we start a society, a group of people who could give only service to the society instead of looking at eyeing at the profit that we may make. We should focus on the service that we are going to give in this whole country or in a small society. So cooperatives started growing. First recorded cooperative is Rochdale Cooperative, which started in 1844 in England. They joined together. If you have more money, you can put more money, but you will have only one vote. It's not for profit motive. This is the profit they make will be plowed back to the main corpus of the company, society, and it will be used for enhancing its main object. It can be for farmers or for anything else. For hospitals, we have cooperative form of, in Kerala, we are very active in cooperative kind of business. That is not business, in fact, they are only giving service. In the meantime, they can make profit, but the cooperative does not mean that they should not make profit. They can make profit, they should make profit, and the profit should be plowed back instead of dividing it among the members. Profit should be plowed back to the main business of the company, cooperative. So that is more benevolent for the society. Then come franchises. McDonald's and KFC, there are franchises. The business has grown. The concept has changed. If you have a small shop in Trivandrum or in any other, even in a village, you can have McDonald's franchisee. Only thing is that they will give you the recipe. The taste, I've seen the taste in different continents, so the same product will be the same, standardized, with their latest techniques. If you eat a kind of, if you have a pizza, Domino pizza in Kerala, same pizza if you order the same kind in any other countries, you will get the same taste. So that is franchises. That's a modern concept has come up to franchisee level. Next is, what is a company? This is very important for a hospital industry, in fact. It's an industry, in fact. We cannot say it's absolutely for philanthropic purpose. No, we have hospitals for philanthropic purpose also, but business is not a dirty word in the modern world. If you want to sustain in this modern world, you've got to make profit. Or I have seen my clients, some of the clients have gone into oblivion. They were in the hospital industries. They didn't focus on the profit. Profit is for what? For sustenance. The company has to sustain for the sake of the society. The society has to get the service of the company. If the company is eating loss for such a long time, do you think that it will withstand? It will have a very sad death. It will go into a very, very grinding halt. That's what I say. So this company means the concept of company has become more important. What is it? Because of this concept, the companies have grown up in this whole world. First concept, it is a legal person. What is a company? These are the 4 sine qua non of a company. First, it says legal person. If you incorporate a company, it becomes a legal person. You cannot kill it. It can be killed only by a process of law. That is called winding up. So a legal person, the company, what do you mean by legal person? It has no voting power, but it has nationality. It has no citizenship, but it has nationality. If you incorporate a company in India, it is Indian company. If you incorporate a company in States, it's a States company. But what is a legal person? Legal person means the companies can own property. Company can sell property in its name through its representative. The representative may be directors, managing directors, or any person who is in the helm of the company who is controlling it. And the company can sue others. Likewise, others can also sue the company, not the members, not the directors. So that is called the concept of separate legal entity. It has become a legal person, separate from its owners. Next is separate entity. Separate entity means if the company makes a profit, or if the company does something which is through that act, somebody has got an injury or loss. It has a separate concept. The company has done it, not the owners, not the persons who are controlling the company. But under compelling circumstances, you can stop it. You can find out who is behind the legal facade. So that is separate entity. Because the company, 2 persons start a company, a private company, and that persons own their own villas or their own properties. Then the company owns their own, its own estate or its own big hospitals. That hospital belongs to the company, not to the owners. Not to the persons who hold 100% shares of the company. Even the group is holding 100% of shares of the company, you cannot, these 100% stakeholders of the company cannot take up the whole assets of the company and cannot vanish in thin air. Because they have plundered or looted the property of the company. Same thing happened for Sahara chit funds. The problem is they have looted the funds. So that has to be kept given back to the stakeholders of the company. So that is separate entity concept. Company and the owners of the company, even though they are holding 100% shares, the assets and liabilities of the company are not the assets and liabilities of the owners who own 100% of the shares of the company. Next is perpetual succession. Company has perpetuity. See, Tata, they have started way back in 1800s. And still they are alive. Lot of people have come. Men may come and men may go, but the company will stand on its own legs throughout the years. There's no, unless the company is wound up by a process of law, the company is still alive and ticking. Next is limited liability. This is a very confusing concept. When we were students of this, company secretaryship. So liability means you have shares will be split into small quantum, 10 rupees or 100 rupees. If you pay 100 rupees shares, if you pay only 50 rupees as the paid up share capital, and the balance 50 you have to pay the company. You go to pay to the company. If the company makes a call on the shares, you go to pay the balance. In the meantime, after taking 50 rupees from all the shareholders of the company went into liquidation. Then the company has to pay off its debts. While paying off the debts, there are shortages. So these shortages can be brought back from the shareholders, saying that you owe 50 more rupees to the company, and these shareholders have to pay the 50 more rupees to the company. Even if after paying all the unpaid shares by the shareholders to the company wants more money to the debtors. What the company would do. Creditors, what the company would do. Company can say, it's wound up, it will become a pauper. It will become bankrupt. No need to pay money, anything beyond that. Because the shareholders' fund will be intact if and the managers, directors' fund will be intact if they do the business, they have done the business in a genuine manner or without any intention to defraud the creditors. Then common seal. Common seal is company does not only have it as a brain of its own named, board of directors. It has no physical existence. So like a human being, if I enter into a contract with anyone else, we'll have to sign. Then only the contract will become effective and enforceable under law. Yeah. So what happens is, this common seal is the company seal. It's a steel, metal part of thing, and it has to be affixed in the documents. And the directors have to countersign it. Then only that document will become very legally effective. Next is, this is the first and foremost important case. It happened in 1897, separate entity and limited liability concept. Solomon versus Solomon and Company Limited. Solomon was a sole trader and he was a leather merchant and boot manufacturer. He was doing boot business. And formed a company, purchased the business. He formed a company and purchased his own business. Company means he and one son and 4 daughters and wife. 7 persons. It's a public limited company. Minimum number is 7 persons. He bought the company and gave all the assets and liabilities to the company and got the money. He sold it for 39,000 pounds. And 9,000 he took it from the company and 20,000 shares. That means, and he gave the company 10,000 secured damages, secured on the assets of the company. What happened is, the company went, due to the general trade depression in London during those days, the business went into liquidation. He cannot fare well. So with utmost good faith, he has done it. And 7,000 is the unsecured creditors. And they said that Solomon and the company are one and the same. I need the money back. Right. I need the money back. They have to give 6,000 because they sold the salvage value of the assets of the company was only 6,000 rupees. What happened is 7,000 is the unsecured creditors. Solomon said, I am the secured creditor of this company, owing 10,000 pounds of secured debentures. I have to get the 6,000 rupees. The others I will not give. Lord Macnaghten and Halsbury, 2 great judges in London, they gave the verdict in favor of Solomon, said that the company and Solomon are different. Solomon is holding 10,000 unsecured debentures of the company, and the first salvage value should go to him. If there is any surplus, it can be given to the outsiders, having only 7,000 rupees, 7,000 pounds. The company owed to them, and the unsecured creditors were not given even a single penny out of that salvage value of 6,000 pounds. And Solomon got 6,000 pounds. He did it. Only thing is that he didn't intend to defraud the creditors. That is the plus point Judge Halsbury and Macnaghten has found out in this case. So with this, I have limited time, like limited liability partnership. I have only limited time left off, and my time is over. If you have any questions, you can ask.
To you, because he has been associating with a lot of NGOs and he has registered a lot of companies. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Sreeth, can you please hand over the memento to Harikrishnan, sir? And please keep your questions ready and please send it by email to our email address. We will collect all of them and then we will take it forward. Thank you very much, Sreeth. Thank you, sir.